Hello. This stream is live. Welcome. If people are joining in, as I cannot see the amount of viewers, I don't think there would be. I literally just started 13 seconds ago. But how is everyone doing? Welcome on in. Welcome back. I am Mary MacDonald, your teenage disabled wheelchair athlete, theater kid, and disability advocate from Massachusetts. Tonight, we are actually 11 days out from the Rock and Roll Las Vegas Half Marathon. My biggest, hardest race yet, and I'm going to go full live with a full Q&A and plus a review of my craziest 2025 Push Your Limits tour, which I do have t-shirts of on marynolimits.com. Go check them out. They're pretty cool. And we're doing 30 plus races, from races like New Balance Nationals, my indoor meets in Boston, all the way to running with the Elves in Taunton, which is the 5K I did a few months ago. 10Ks, powerlifting meets, elite miles, and nonstop travel in my racing chair. I'll really live the best parts of it, like crushing in the Unified 5K in Cumberland and the Falmouth Road Race, of course, the grind of Hartford Nationals, and lessons for pushing through ableism, logistic nightmares, and my own doubts, because every race is building me up for Vegas. Drop your questions in the chat about my training, my last year's races, or what scares me about the 13.5 miles. If you want to follow the full journey or support me via Venmo at marynolimits.com. That's your spot for all my socials as well. And yeah, let's dive in, ask away, and let's push our limits together. So I had a lot of indoor track events, which were wonderful. I think the New Balance indoor was amazing. I think I've been there multiple times. I'm gonna have to say about 3 times. It was a great race, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I broke multiple national records at that race. I believe it was like 4 or 5, which I'm quite proud of. And sorry about that. I just ate dinner. I'm very right now, but I just ate dinner, and yeah, but the race was wonderful. The indoor races. I was up against other high school students, which was such a great honor to be there, especially when most people are able-bodied. Being able to race against them and show that disabled athletes can do the same really makes me proud of and happy to be who I am, And then I had a adaptive sports New England track meet, which was in Braintree, MA, and that was one of my favorite races. I don't remember it that much, but I do have a question listed that I wrote beforehand, which was, what event felt the fastest, and how did being around other adaptive athletes recharge you? Oh wait, yes, I do remember. That was in the summer. I think my favorite was the 100 meter because it was super quick and easy to get through. And that was my favorite races. I don't remember it that much.
Does it sound funky? Can you hear it?
Anyone, deserves advocacy. So I think even as a physically disabled person, I feel like we all share similar battles. And yeah, I feel like everyone deserves that. And man, the Bionic 5K, that was a race. That was one of the first videos that kind of got me out there. A lot of people don't, if you haven't seen it, it's a very interesting video because I did end up crashing into a brick wall. That was one of the first and only crashes I have ever personally experienced, which is kind of surprising as a wheelchair racer. You would expect there to be more than that, but there's not. So it was very much shock. I blew out all my tires. Sorry, I'm talking too fast. But I blew out most of my tires, like all 3 of them popped, which was quite strange. Actually was not able to complete that race, but it was an amazing race. I met a lot of great people, and I think seeing other people who were also disabled was an amazing experience, and I loved it. Now, the UTA 5K, which was an amazing event. I enjoyed that so much. There was, I'm trying to remember which one this was. There's a lot of Unified 5Ks that I've done. I love Unified 5Ks. You should definitely look them up. They have them all over Massachusetts. I believe they're all over the country as well. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, you should definitely look them up. They're amazing. So yeah. And I met a lot of people from there. And yeah, I get to be on a podcast. So it was really fun. Sorry about that. I'm checking off my notes. I usually have some live stream notes with me just so I can check what I really want to go over, what I'm going to do for the day, just keeps everything nice. Make sure I continue going at a good pace, Now, how does it feel when you have a mechanical failure versus a physical issue? That is a great question. So a mechanical failure feels a little bit different, A physical issue, so I'm going to start out with the physical issue. A physical issue is something that I know I can overcome. That's something I know I could just try to overcome and try to get through it, where a mechanical issue is something that can require much more time, Depending on the physical issue, it can be fixed in a few seconds or a few minutes, or just by sitting there and taking a break. But with a mechanical failure, you don't know how long that'll take. You don't know if you have the supplies for it sometimes, things like that. So a mechanical failure kind of gets me a little bit more upset than a physical issue due to the fact that it's very different, Yeah. Excuse me. But I had another 5K called the Unified 5K in Lancaster, MA. I actually mixed up a lot of the 5Ks that were the Unified 5Ks because they were the same groups of people, and they were so wonderful, you know what I mean? And so I kind of smushed them together. Sometimes it happens to me, or I smush things together that aren't related, but that's okay. And then Carver Old Home Day 5 miler. Now that is one of my favorite ones because you get to go past cranberry bogs. Wonderful police support on that course. I did not have to worry about the roads being open that much. It was not a close course race, but the police made it feel like it was. Yeah, and it was just wonderful. Now, the BAA Carson Beach 5K. Now, if some of you know, besides the issue, what other mechanical issue? Oh, the tire issue. So I had a very difficult steering with my compensator, my steering. It kind of snapped randomly, which was quite scary. And then my leg position was really funky as I was strapping my legs to the chair. Most athletes, let's say this is, let me see, wait. The camera's flipped, so I can't, okay. This is my knees, right? I'm sitting, this is the top of my legs, this is bottom. My feet are here. And I'm sitting on my knees, right? Imagine me strapping myself into the chair in a position like this. Usually there's a metal frame to help do that, but I was basically suspended on nothing but Velcro the whole time. And that was quite the experience. It felt like kind of being on air. It was kind of scary. And that kind of made it a lot more difficult for me, especially when I did hit that wall, because the impact was quite interesting. So as I was speaking of the BAA Carson Beach 5K. Now, I don't know if many people know, but I did get into another BAA 5K, which is, I believe, a day or two before the Boston Marathon, which I'm super proud of because I will be racing with my heroes, and I am so excited. Mainly Eden Rainbow Cooper, who is someone I follow online, and I very like her very much because I feel like we are very similar in ways, disabilities or similar things like that. But also seeing someone out there who's advocating but still being herself, she's not letting it get to her, and I really like seeing that. So she's one of my favorites. I definitely tell people to go check her out. She's awesome. And yeah, the BAA Carson 5K Beach 5K is run by the same people who are going to be doing the 5K coming up in April that I will be doing. It was right on the side of the Carson Beach, which was wonderful, and the ocean views were amazing. Like, we're talking amazing, and I loved it. And I think there was that one hot dog place because it was right near Castle Island, so it was really nice, and I loved it. And going down that was amazing. Just the ocean just went whoosh. It's very exciting and very nice. Now, the amount of what was my fastest split time for the BAA 5K? Now, I'm not sure. I have my wonderful thing here. Let's check. There's a brand called Cat Eye that has these, but I use an IGS Sport. This is my bike computer. I don't know if it's in focus. Come on, get in focus there. Come on, get in focus. Blur my face out. But this wonderful screen, this is what I have attached to my chair. I'm going to turn this on so I can show you. Let's see. Oh, there we go. But see, it has this little opening, and this is where I record all of my races. History. Now, I don't remember the date of this event, and I don't know if it's named, so that's the one thing. And it only goes back to a certain time. Let's see here. But I do have a list of most of my routes. Oh. Here, which you could see all of the names of, like running of the, oh, come on, come back here. Thank you. Like running of the Pilgrims, Winter 5K and Came. Oh my goodness, come back. The camera doesn't like me today. I want to show the people this. There we go. But you can see here, running of the Pilgrims, Winter 5K in Cambridge, running of the Elves, Flutie 5K in Natick, and then the DAV 5K, and the Camp Harbor View City one. So that's all of them. And what this does is, let's say, I'm going to pretend that I'm doing running of the Pilgrims. Navigate. And what that would do would show me a screen like this. And oh, well, I'm not close enough to this where it could say that I'm doing that. Hold up. I don't need the weather. Hold up. Kind of don't know what I'm doing a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to stop playing with this so I don't mess this up, but it's a very interesting thing to have. It's great for anyone who's needing to track everything, and I love it so much. And it's great, and I love it so much. And yeah, so I do not remember the BHC 5K that well. Hey, Dad. What does BHC mean again? But then I also have Born to Run 5K, which is Born to Run. Yes, that is a wonderful one, and I'm very happy to do back-to-back of that. Now the Winter Classic 5K. Carson Beach, 2017. There we go. Yes, that was my time. I was looking for it. I could not find it. Thank you to my moderators. All right, so the Winter Classic was wonderful, but it was cold. We're talking like icy cold. But it was a lot of fun. Now, I have kind of, when I do like cold weather training and stuff like that, I'm usually trying to layer clothes. So I layer my clothes. Like, let's say I have a jersey on, like a team, or my Mary No Limits penny, or my Mary No Limits t-shirt. I'll do kind of like the 2000s thing where you layer a long sleeve shirt under it. But I like to do that a lot when it's cold out. But that's something that really helps. It also protects the lower part of your arm here from getting cut up by the chair. I also have poo noodles there to help with that as well. And then on my legs, I wear like 2 to 3 layers of pants just to be extra safe. I do have low circulation, so depending on the person, it could be more or less. Yeah, and it was a wonderful way to kick off December. Everyone was in such a festive spirit. The amount of costumes that people had was crazy. You know, it was just, I think there was a lot of Santa, there were a lot of elves, and it's really funny to see runners who you usually see wearing like the running shirt and the running shorts, and they just turn into these people wearing onesies and running down the street. You know, it's kind of funny, but it's wonderful. And then my long distance races, and now the Cape Cod Canal Mother's Day 10 kilometer. It was wonderful. I loved the canal path. Of course, you have to be careful because the canal paths are quite small. They're pretty decently sized, but my chair is kind of big, so I was always worried about falling off the side of it. I didn't, thankfully. But the water is I love water, but it's a little scary because you are so close to that. Of course, I was very happy because my dad was with me, and that made me really happy. Just having my family to support me all the time really helps. Now, the Funky Monkey 10K. Aw, thank you. The Funky Monkey 10K. What made it funky? It was an interesting race. That is for sure. Funky. Yeah, funky. I mean that both in a kind way, and yeah. It was interesting. I don't think they've had many wheelchair racers, so I think me being one of the first wheelchair racers definitely helped them with experience. There was a lot of organization kind of issues, more or less. You know, that was the only issue I really had with it, especially because it was an open course. My dad was still able to guide me. It was just a little scary being, you know, out there with cars and everyone around me. It was just like, oh, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. So, and then, yeah, it was funky. I don't know if 5 more minutes?
You close the script in 5 minutes. Do one more, then closing script.
Okay, everyone, I have 5 more minutes, so I have to do the one more and a closing script. I'm so sorry to be ending my time early, but I do have another thing to get to, and that is my rolling session with New York City Parasport, so I'm quite excited for that. But Falmouth Road Race highlight, those 7 tough miles, what kept you in the fight? That is something that I think that I'm very happy that's there, because it was a lot of, I didn't want to disappoint people. And, you know, that's something I strive not to do, I don't want to disappoint people. But also there's so much tradition backed into Falmouth. And I think getting to be a part of that tradition is such an honor. So I think that that's what kept me going, was the tradition and the people. They were so supportive. I think that was my favorite race that I've done of all time. Also, the shark inflatable costumes were pretty epic. Those were definitely That's one of my favorite things about Falmouth is the view of the ocean and the shark inflatable costume from the Woods Hole Oceanic Institute. That was pretty awesome to see that. That was one of my favorite like little booths they had set up because they do that around the trail. Da-da-da-da-da. I have a lot more listed here. I am so sad that I couldn't get to all of them today, but I'm very happy that you all decided to spend time with me tonight on this the 11th day of my countdown to the Rock and Roll Las Vegas Half Marathon. Sharing the real side of my training, travel, nerves, and excitement as a young disabled wheelchair athlete always means a lot to me, and having you here is very helpful. And it makes the scary race feel like a tiny bit less lonely, and helps to keep things possible. If you want to keep following along, which I hope you do, you can rewatch this countdown as much as you want or help me get to more start lines by heading to marynolimits.com. You can actually find all of my social media links there, along with my Venmo and other things to help stay connected and support my journey. Thank you again for watching, commenting, and cheering me on. I'll be back with more updates as the race day get closer. Have a great night. And anyways, that's it for now. Mary out.